Hello everyone. In this video we will see, is Dwayne Johnson a mediocre actor or does he just do shitty movies? Thank you for clicking on this video. It is presented to you by Question Answer. Thanks to Vitmor, Dirk Hooper, Justin Straight and Evan Lucas for sharing their answers to this question with us. The first answer will be from Vitmor.
Hi, neither option. Dwayne Johnson cracked the code when it comes to what audiences want to see on the big screen. He knows that he won't be able to pull off a dramatic scene like Adrien Brody did while crying in the street in The Pianist. He knows that he won't be able to pull off a romantic role like Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. And because he knows this, he decided to do what he's good at. With his many years of fighting in the ring and interacting with crowds while doing it, he learned that he was good at doing physically demanding things and learned what the public loved about him, his personality. So he spent his first few acting jobs learning how to merge his fighting and attitude in a way that worked on screen and not only in the ring, and as we can now see, he nailed it. Whenever a new movie starring Dwayne comes out, you can expect what you expect with Ryan Reynolds. Dwayne plays someone with a different name, but that someone is always Dwayne, and his charismatic personality, muscled body, and great bald head bring the crowds to the cinema. Thank you for reading.
We can continue with Dirk Hooper's answer.
Dwayne Johnson is a member of a long line of actors who get by more on charm and presence than on acting ability. Some other actors that fall into this category are John Wayne, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jackie Chan, and Meryl Streep. Just kidding, I'm checking to see if you're paying attention. Dwayne Johnson emerged from professional wrestling royalty and found his voice during the Attitude Era of the WWE in the 1990s as The Rock. His gift with the microphone led to a quick ascension to the top of that promotion. After a couple of small roles on television, his big debut was as the Scorpion King in The Mummy Returns. Followed quickly by a solo film called The Scorpion King. Over the past couple of decades he's gone from being The Rock to simply Dwayne Johnson, and he's been in television roles, big blockbusters, and some experimental work. What you've got in Dwayne Johnson is a guy who is an amazing physical specimen, but who also speaks English as a first language, and is incredibly charming. He's also shown a good capacity for comedy timing, which is particularly interesting because of his looks. He's not a great actor, but he's stretched his abilities at times, like his role in Southland Tales. Or as Paul Doyle in Pain and Gain. They were not Oscar-worthy performances, but he was good in those parts. If you haven't seen his work in the HBO series Ballers, you're missing his most genuine acting job. He's just a regular guy on there, and he's very convincing in his role as a former football player who has become a financial advisor to athletes. He's got range in Ballers. I think he's getting better and better over time. He might even have an award-worthy performance in him at some point. In the meantime, he's known as Franchise Viagra. The idea is that if you need to prop up your lagging film franchise, then you insert Dwayne Johnson into your cast and he'll bring a new audience. He's unquestionably made some missteps with his movie selection. His recent vehicle Skyscraper was a miss, but that film could have been much better, and it did allow him to star in a movie as a father and a normal guy, rather than a superhero. I get the selection. On the other hand, Jumanji was a runaway success, and even Rampage did okay this year. He's mostly choosing films based on box office potential. Half of those choices are abysmal, and half are entertaining. He could unquestionably do better on film selection, but if you look at his filmography, it does show a wide variety of films, including family films, action films, comedies, animation, blockbuster franchises, and soon, superhero stuff. It's unlikely that anyone will enjoy everything he does because his genres are all over the map. What he's doing is very shrewd. It expands his reach to all audiences, but it also means that you're not going to like his whole filmography. Dwayne Johnson is a much better actor than he gets credit for, and he's improving with age. And while his film selection is sometimes disappointing, there's a lot of intelligence behind the choices.
We continue with Justin Straight's answer.
Dwayne Johnson is an excellent actor, who's limited to big box office, franchisee, trash movies because that's his type. More than that, in my opinion, The Rock has been an excellent actor since the beginning of his career. When Dwayne, as The Rock, asked, "Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?" I always believed him. This is not Dwayne Johnson. This is The Rock, a character that Dwayne created and played for many years before starring in many, many terrible movies. I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I truly believe that professional wrestling takes an enormous amount of acting skill. The Rock is clearly distinct and different from Johnson, and Johnson always played The Rock's motivations, feelings, and general arrogance and eyebrow slanting as a true actor. It's just, people don't consider wrestlers actors, even though they're clearly acting. And acting well. Since switching over to movies, he hasn't had particularly good roles to show his acting chops. Jumanji was one of the few breaks from his big tough guy type, and he handled it quite well. What Dwayne Johnson never seems to get a chance to do in the movies, and probably the biggest skills he lacks, are in characterization. He never does a British accent or walk like a pirate. Unlike more generic-looking people like Gary Oldman, it's hard for Dwayne to disappear into a role, because he's a huge, muscle-bound wrestler. Honestly, how many dramatic, Oscar-worthy roles can you see that guy playing? He will not be Hamlet anytime soon, and that is why he ends up in bad movies. His type is cheesy action movie guy. For what it's worth, he's had a hand in some of the better modern, action, non-superhero movies. There's not many, like Fast and the Furious and, well, I guess that's it. And critics tend to like his voice work, particularly Moana. But he'll always be limited by his size. It's a little sad. Don't forget he's making lots of money and having fun. But that's kind of how movies work. When Johnson does appear in Rampage or Hercules, it's bad, but I'd also argue that he can take a terrible movie and upgrade it to just very bad. And that takes acting chops, not just charisma. Also, these movies do pay well. And a big star always has a long list of people dependent on their salary for their own bread and butter, agents, managers, etc. So, Dwayne Johnson has to consider everyone underneath him too, which makes it harder to run off and do serious theater for a few years.
We continue with Evan Lucas's answer.
Is Dwayne Johnson a mediocre actor? Nobody is comparing Dwayne Johnson to Bale, Day-Lewis, Oldman, etc. For the same reason Schwarzenegger wasn't compared to Pacino, Hoffman, or De Niro. He is not the most skilled actor. He is not a method actor. He does not pretend his acting abilities are better or equal to Bale, Day-Lewis, Oldman, etc. He knows who he is and follows his own path, which is not that of acting expertise or masterpiece filmmaking. I doubt an Oscar nod is anywhere close to one of his top priorities. He wants to make movies that he wants to make and that he believes his fans want to see, which are for the most part popcorn flicks. He is not about to shed 80 to 100 plus pounds for a role. I surmise directors the likes of Scorsese, Cameron, and possibly even Nolan are not the type to seek The Rock's services for their films. He takes roles that don't rely on pure acting but rather his presence and charisma instead. He is charming, comedically gifted and likable enough that he alone can carry the right type of movie. Many skills and intangibles make up how good an actor is. What Dwayne lacks in raw acting ability is made up for in humor, charisma and physicality. Calling him a mediocre actor may be partially accurate, but he is an elite entertainer. Or does he just do shitty movies? I don't see how the two would be connected. Even great actors do shitty movies from time to time. However, the type of films The Rock has shifted towards are, how do I put this, less intellectual than others, even in the same genre. Comparing him and his filmography to that of Schwarzenegger seems appropriate. They both have done over-the-top violent films followed by a children's film and then some that are essentially self-parody. The Rock is going down that same road but with less R-rated movies, which can be attributed to the current state of the box office. Like I said, he doesn't expect these movies to be Oscar-nominated masterpieces. His goal is to entertain and sell tickets. Truthfully, when I saw the first trailer for Skyscraper, I thought the movie would bomb, and it has, for the most part, even though I did see it. This was a rare misstep for Dwayne but not unsurprising. I thought it would bomb because I didn't understand who it was for. Old die-hard fans don't want to see a PG-13 version of a similar story. It's too violent for young children. Older kids and teens were probably turned off by the boring and dark color palette along with the low-stakes premise and thought, meh. The trailer made the movie look humorless and not very fun, unlike Rampage or Jumanji 2. Skyscraper was a misstep for Johnson, but overall I think he has chose movies that sell well, please his audience, and are popcorn-worthy entertainment. Just not the award-winning kind. He's not for everyone, but he fills a valuable role in Hollywood and has proven so with his box office drawing ability.
The video is over. Thank you for staying until the end. You can now subscribe if you like the video more. Remember to also leave a like, it helps for the referencing on YouTube. This is now the end of this video. Remember to leave a comment to tell us if these answers resonate with you. Bye and see you soon.